If you're a manufacturer, you can save up to 150% on your inputs. That's right, you may qualify for concessions and waivers from Customs. I'm Kalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Orane Thompson is Supervisor of JCA's Incentive Unit. He's back to tell us more. And make sure you watch this video to the end because we have a giveaway. Welcome back, Orane. Thanks for joining me again.
Thanks, Kalila.
So on the last episode, you told us about the productive input relief offered by Jamaica Customs for various sectors.
Right.
Manufacturers are one of them.
Right.
So if you're a Jamaican manufacturer, you can qualify for waivers, for duty waivers on certain things. So let's zoom in on the manufacturing sector.
Sure.
Are there specific manufacturers that qualify?
All right. What you have to bear in mind is that the legislation, the Customs Act, the amendment, it speaks to not manufacturers, surprisingly. It speaks to manufacture of goods. So let's first establish that. So we don't actually qualify entities or individuals. What we actually qualify are processes. So you're not qualified as a manufacturer. Your process that you do qualifies. Now, basically, any person who feels that they're involved in an activity that is transforming a good, and that is where your inputs will be concerned, your raw material, your intermediate goods, and so on, your packaging, and you're going to use those inputs now, and you're going to create a new or distinct product, then you should be able to qualify. Right.
Boy, that sounds all right. So how do I know if I qualify for this? So if I'm doing T-shirts.
Right.
I design the T-shirt. Maybe I import the actual T-shirt, but I design it and I have it printed here.
Right.
Does that qualify? Because
No.
you're transforming the product.
Right, but we have to be very careful when we're looking at transformation because the law is very specific. It also goes further to tell you exactly what activities do not qualify. So I tell persons all the time, let us go through the normal routine of doing the examination of the process, looking at exactly what is being done, look at what inputs are being used, and then we make a determination if you are able to qualify. Because making T-shirts can easily qualify, but it could be a case where basically the process is not intense enough to qualify.
Right. Okay, so I see what you mean by certain processes are eligible, but not the business, because a business can manufacture more than one thing.
True.
And one thing might qualify and another thing doesn't.
You are correct.
Okay.
Very correct.
So
Very
who
correct.
makes that determination? Is it Customs?
All right. So let's look at the process now in relation to becoming a manufacturer or qualifying for the processing of your whatever you're going to be processing. First, you make an application to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce through their industry division. So that's the first stop. So you go to that point, and then when the application is done, then it moves from that point now to Jamaica Customs. And then Jamaica Customs comes in along with the ministry. So it's a collaborative effort. And both teams now go to the manufacturing entity to see exactly what is done, what the processes are, and the determination is made. So MIC, on one hand, will make a recommendation if they believe that a company can qualify or not qualify. And then Customs, leaning heavily on the law, will also make a determination.
Okay, so you all actually have to go and verify what is done. This sounds like this process might take some time.
It depends. If everything is lined up properly, because in terms of the processes, the documentation that is required, it can maybe take about 5 to 15 working days. But it could be longer. You might have an instance where you need more information, some research has to be done, and so on. But on the whole, it has worked very efficiently. In even some instances, it could take up to 5 days.
But normally, Customs, you guys busy?
Yes, miss, that is true.
I know you're busy.
You're correct. You're correct.
Do you have a dedicated team that does this?
Yes, this is now the incentives unit, and it's a brilliant team that works
That's
very
where
hard.
you work.
Yes, that's where I work.
So it's your brilliant
yes,
team.
They're really good. They're dedicated. They understand. No, not only that, but they understand the importance of manufacturers to the economy and to the to the whole development of Jamaica. So they see the importance. So they push hard to make sure that we get all the applications as quickly as possible to make sure that the engines of the economy can turn.
So once my product or process
Correct.
is approved,
Right.
can I continue to receive that benefits whenever I'm importing something for that product?
Yeah, but for what happens is that when you do qualify, you get a period. So for argument's sake, you're starting a company. You're starting a company, you don't have everything in place that you might have the location or the property. You make a proposal, a business proposal, and you give it to the agency and say, listen, I intend to make a drink. And they say, let's do a proposal, let us see what you're doing. And in that instance, you might get 6 months to 1 year. And that time is now to make sure that you can put yourself together.
Okay, so you can apply for this even if you haven't started the process
If you have not
yet.
started, you are correct.
Okay.
You are correct. So that's what is
good.
called a
so you don't
startup.
have to be an established
No,
manufacturer.
because you want to make sure that the playing field is as level as possible. So persons who have the intent and have the interest can also get the benefit.
Now, suppose I use it for purposes not intended under the Act.
Well, you'll be breaching the customs laws. Section 32 actually speaks directly to that, the Customs Act, that the goods that you are getting on a concessionary benefit must be used solely for the purpose intended. And even to go further, the declaration that is made by the importer specifically states that these items are going to be used to manufacture a particular thing at a particular location. It's like a contract.
But you said solely
Right.
for that purpose. Now, I have a business. I manufacture more than one thing.
Right.
And this item that I've imported helps me to manufacture item A,
Right.
which falls under which is eligible for the concession.
Right.
But I can also use the same piece of equipment to
Right.
manufacture item B,
Right.
which doesn't fall under concession. Is
Right.
that a violation of the rules?
No, because in this instance, if you have an item that basically has more than one purpose, so to speak, then you will have to make sure that you keep good records, proper records, maintain proper records, so that one can quickly determine exactly what you're using in terms of the productive inputs relief and what you're using for maybe the retail trade.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Right.
So what are some other conditions that we must follow? Do you have any more?
Well, one of the main things that persons sometimes do not understand is that when you get the benefit, it does not mean that you get everything. Right. So in relation to the conditions, so to speak, the law was very specific. It says that Part 1 of the 4th schedule to the Customs Act, all the items, it gives you a list of items. And those items you're not allowed to bring in. They are what are called ineligibles. And it's a way of protecting the common market. So those items you can't get. Furthermore, interestingly, the law further states that if the Commissioner of Customs is satisfied that the good can be obtained locally, or it can be obtained in the common market, which is CARICOM, they have the right to say that you are not allowed to get that particular item.
Even if there is a significant price difference?
This is where it says the Commissioner of Customs. So that has to be a determination by the Commissioner of Customs.
Okay.
Right.
Because, all right, so it's up to the Commissioner's discretion.
Discretion, right. They'll make a determination at that point. And of course, the decision will be made. They'll speak to the relevant agencies and the ministries and so to make sure that it is a level playing field.
Right, because
Sure.
the item may be available locally, but
Right.
it costs $100,000.
True.
And I go
That's
online
true.
and it's there for $50,000.
Right.
Of course, I would want to purchase
Right.
it online.
Right, that's true. But as it is now, they have not really invoked that law. But the law that is really in force is the Part 1 of the 4th schedule.
Okay.
Right.
And remind me how much, what percentage is customs duty, or does it vary?
It has a range. So it can range from 5% to 40%.
To 40%.
Right.
So you could be saving up to 40% of your
No,
inputs.
that's interesting. No.
No?
No, you can save more because duties are compounded. So what you find happening is that you have instances when manufacturers are saving over 150%.
Ooh.
Yes, based on the fact that they have concessionary benefits. They see on the cost, insurance and freight, over 150% easily because of that particular benefit. It's a very serious benefit. It's a very serious benefit.
So you better make sure that you look into that and apply for your benefits.
Right, yes, it's a good benefit. But as you know, you get a benefit, you have responsibilities and there are conditions.
Do you have a lot of people who apply for this benefit?
Yes, Yes,
Are
yes,
people knowledgeable enough about it?
Yeah, man, we have seen some growth in relation to persons who want to go into the manufacturing sector, and the Ministry of Industry has done some amount of promotion through Jam Proto, so persons are becoming more aware that they can get the particular benefits. Right.
So what are the categories that are eligible for manufacturers?
All right, I figure what you're referring to is exactly what benefits will manufacturers get when they're importing particular items. Now, this is what is very important. These are the categories or the areas that they can get. They are entitled to all raw material. A raw material looks at items that have not been transformed. So if they're going to make oranges, just for argument's sake, and they bring in oranges, that's raw material. Then you have your intermediate goods. Those are goods that have been somewhat processed, but they're going to be further processed. So for argument's sake, again, this is the orange example. They make orange juice, they get the orange juice, and that orange juice is going to make sorbet or ice cream or some kind of pastry. They're entitled to that. That's your intermediate goods. Then you have your consumables, and those are things that are used in the production process. It's used up, but it's not a final part of the product. And you also have the packaging, and packaging is important. That protects the goods, it identifies it, and so on. And then you have what is called your equipment and machinery. And that is all the equipment and machinery that they're going to be using for the production processes. Plus, you also get the spare parts that are related to that particular equipment and machinery that you import. So it's very important. Those are the categories. And it must be important to note, so persons who are going to be applying and are looking at these categories, the items must fall somewhere there. Must fall, and if it falls in there, you're entitled to it.
Okay. But before we go, Orane has a giveaway question.
All right, so the question I'm going to be asking is, based on what was discussed, tell us two categories in relation to where the benefits that persons can, items that persons can receive benefits on.
Answer that question over on Exim Bank's Instagram page at EximBankJA. You can win a lovely prize from Exim Bank. And now here's a recap of Orane's main points. Eligibility is based on the process your business uses rather than the entity or individual. If you are transforming a good, you may qualify for the productive input relief from manufacturers. You can even apply if you haven't started yet. Duties are compounded, so you can save over 150%. Well, thank you so much again, Orane. You've given us great information.
You're welcome, Khalil.
And viewers, you can click the link in the description below. I have all the links there for you so you can find out where you can go to apply for these particular benefits. As a registered manufacturer, not only can you receive tax relief, but you can also get up to 50% discount from customs administration fees. I'd say that's more than enough reason to register ASAP. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service. Make sure you check out their website, eximbankja.com. The BAS is giving you the tools to grow your business. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Stay safe.
Let's get this money.